What if I told you that some of the most iconic designs in the world are impossible to improve? Sounds wild, right? But it's true. The iPhone, the Coca-Cola bottle, the Nike Swoosh. These are just a few examples of designs so perfectly balanced that trying to change them would actually ruin them. Shocking, right? Here's a mind-blowing fact. Research shows that people are 60% more likely to remember a design if it feels simple and perfect, not cluttered or complicated. Yet, time and again, designers try to improve what's already flawless. But why? What makes a design hit that level of perfection where any change seems out of place? In this video, we'll explore why some designs are impossible to improve and uncover the hidden principles that make them stand the test of time. We'll dive into strategies you can use to create designs that are not just good, but untouchable. Stick around, because what you're about to learn will change the way you look at design forever. Chapter 1. The essence of perfection. What makes a design quintessential? Designs become iconic when they strike the right balance between usability and aesthetics. Think about the iPhone, for example. Apple's original iPhone wasn't just a phone. It was a revolution in design. Its smooth lines, intuitive interface, and sleek look created a product that felt, well, perfect. According to design experts, this is the quintessence of design, where all elements align to form something flawless. In the world of design, this kind of perfection is often described as the sweet spot. Too much tweaking, and you risk breaking what makes the design so good in the first place. The term quintessence comes from the idea of a perfect form that cannot be replicated or improved. The more closely you align a design to its essence, the harder it becomes to make it better. It's not about adding more, it's about achieving balance. Chapter 2. Unpacking impossible. When perfection becomes a challenge, the idea of improving a perfect design is often challenged by the paradox of choice. When you have too many options, the more you tweak, the less you gain. A study by psychologist Barry Schwartz shows that people are often less happy when faced with too many choices. Similarly, when designers keep modifying a nearly perfect creation, it often leads to diminishing returns. The more you try to refine, the more you risk losing something essential. Take the famous example of the redesign of Coca-Cola's logo in the early 2000s. While Coca-Cola has maintained its iconic brand image, small changes to the logo over time have failed to capture the same magic it had when it was first designed. When perfection is reached, changing it feels like an unnecessary gamble. Chapter 3. The art of simplicity. Less is more, but how much less? One of the key principles in design is minimalism. It's the idea that sometimes less really is more. But the trick is knowing when enough is enough. Apple's logo is a prime example of this. It's simple, a bit an apple, but it speaks volumes. This type of simplicity is what makes certain designs feel complete and hard to improve. The less is more concept isn't just about removing elements. It's about honing in on what's essential. In design, this principle is crucial. A study by the Design Council in the UK found that companies that prioritize simple, functional design saw a 60% increase in user satisfaction. When a design hits that sweet spot, tweaking it often just makes things worse. Subscribe now to get more insider tips on how to create designs that last the test of time and never need improvement. Chapter 4. The timeless touch. Why trendy tweaks fail. Trends in design come and go, but timeless designs stay. One clear example is the Coca-Cola bottle. Despite many changes in packaging trends, the signature bottle design has remained mostly untouched. Trends can make designs feel current, but they don't always make them better. According to design historian Stephen Heller, trends are a response to current culture, but they rarely reflect long-term needs. When designs try to adapt to every new trend, they risk losing their lasting appeal. A good design doesn't try to keep up with trends. It sets the standard for them. Designs that have stood the test of time, like the classic Porsche 911, remain successful because they are not prisoners of fashion. Chapter 5. Intuition over intellect. Harnessing your inner designer intuition plays a huge role in creating designs that feel right. Steve Jobs famously trusted his gut when it came to design. Jobs wasn't necessarily an expert in design, but he knew how to make decisions based on what felt right. Designers often say that their best work comes from trusting their instincts. It's less about data and more about experience. There's a term for this: design intuition. It's the ability to instinctively know when a design is right. Studies in neuroscience show that humans have the ability to make complex decisions quickly and effectively, often without fully understanding why. The best designers rely on this subconscious decision-making process to create near-perfect designs that feel natural and whole. Chapter 6. When to stop. The power of knowing your limits. One of the hardest things for any designer to learn is when to stop. Creativity isn't about constantly adding, it's about knowing when a design is complete. Dieter Rams, the legendary designer behind many of Braun's products, believed in the principle of less, but better. He famously said, "Good design is as little design as possible." Knowing when to stop is just as important as knowing what to add. An example of this is the Nike Swoosh. The logo was designed by graphic designer Carolyn Davidson in 1971 for just $35. Its simplicity is what has made it so powerful. The swoosh could have been made more intricate, but the decision to keep it simple made it timeless. Adding more details would have only diluted its strength. Subscribe and stay tuned for more insights on creating designs that can't be improved, and why that's the ultimate goal. Conclusion. The quintessence of design. Some designs are impossible to improve because they've already achieved a balance that others can't replicate. Whether it's the simplicity of the iPhone, the timeless appeal of the Coca-Cola bottle, or the minimalism of the Nike Swoosh, certain creations have reached a point where they embody their essence. As a designer, the goal isn't always to improve, it's to understand when something is already perfect. At the heart of great design is knowing when to stop. Trust your instincts, embrace simplicity, and recognize that sometimes perfection lies in restraint. After all, the best designs aren't the ones that try to do more, they're the ones that do exactly what they need to do, in the best way possible.